bet you guys didn't even know that the French horn is a very mysterious instrument, just like our double reeds, bassoon, and oboe. Why is it so mysterious? Because when any non-brass player looks at this instrument, they automatically think, what's with all the tubes? What's with all the valves? What's with all this? What's this for? I didn't know you could have that. It's a mysterious instrument. But did you know that this instrument dates all the way back to prehistoric times? Even during the time of when England wasn't even founded yet. Back when the Crusades were still going on. Except the only difference with the French horn, it was used at that time for battle cries. In this case, instead of making it out of tubing, instead of making it out of what you see right here, it was made out of the bones of humans, and it was made out of the bones of animals. And let's put it this way, when you use a musical instrument out of the bones of animals, it gives a very terrifying sound as compared to what you hear here. And in a few seconds, I might end up turning a French horn into one of my Texas cats in a bit, but we'll get there when we get there. It wasn't until the 1600s, maybe even earlier than that, that the French horn decided to become more metal. No, not heavy metal, but more metal. The only difference was there were no valves, there were no fingerings or slides. It was just like the trumpet back in the ancient Egypt times. It was just one circular object, mouthpiece and horn, and all circular, nothing else. Except the French horn was only just used for hunting parties. It wasn't until the early 1800s that the French horn started to get introduced to orchestral settings, get introduced to classical music, and like the trumpet, the valves came back. And the other thing is, this is a double French horn, meaning it can go in different keys. It can become an F concert horn like most beginner students can do, and it can become a B flat, which in this case, beginners could play on a B flat horn, but usually not meant until you're at intermediate level. But because this instrument can change to 2 different keys, we consider this a professional model. How does it become 2 different keys? You see back here, these 2 main tuning slides, these are added tubing. When you add tubing to any instrument, you're basically increasing the level of sound, the level of volume, and at the same time, the level of range that the instrument can go to. And because the valves were added to this, extra tubing was added to this, that's why this instrument, this double French horn, can take us in different ranges, from high to very, very low. So just like the trumpet, you want to set your embouchure exactly the way you did. In this case, think of something that you really love to eat, and then take a big whiff. There it is. Set those corners nice and firm. Set that anchor. Once it's anchored, check and see if that chin is nice and flat. Now here's the difference between mouthpiece embouchure trumpet and mouthpiece embouchure French horn. Remember how I said that trumpet was tip of the mouthpiece to the tip of your bottom lip? It's not the same way for French horn. In this case, it's kind of guesstimating. Now, for some students, for some other individuals, teeth and gums can vary. Sometimes you might have bigger teeth, sometimes you might have smaller teeth. So it's just more of a guesstimated type. But in this case, locate where your gums and your teeth meet. Like in this case, mine meet right here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the tip of this French horn mouthpiece and you're going to place it there, right in between the gums and the teeth, where they meet. And just like the teacup, in this case, let's try something different. We did this with trumpets. We're going to do something different with French horns. This is just so you guys can stand out from the rest. Take your thumb and your ring finger and do it all the way to the end of the shank of this mouthpiece. Bring it up. Find that crease of the gums and the teeth. Once you have it, bring it up. And then remember, and buzz. So let's see if we can do that. Here we go. We're going to use the 4-count method, 4 preparatory counts. So here we go. 1, 2. So in this case, my embouchure was a little bit more all over the place. And maybe that's because of the balance between my thumb and my index, and my ring finger, that's what made it unstabilized. For you guys, it might be stabilized. But if you're like me and it wasn't really as stabilized as you wanted it to be, it's okay to switch back to the way you did it with trumpet. So now let's try it the way we do it with trumpet. Find that crease. Bring it up. Remember to set your anchor, the corners of the mouth firm, with a nice flat chin. And here we go. Let's try that again. Let's see if we can find a different pitch now. 5, 6. In that case, the first time I did the buzz, I went from a concert C. Then when I switched, I went to a concert F. Now, was that concert F stable? No, it was not. Could it be fixed? Absolutely. But again, time and practice will always give you the chance to actually find exactly where the embouchure needs to be set in order to get that same sound. Let's try it again. Try to see if you can aim for that concert F sound. And if you have to, it's okay to listen to me find the pitch first. Pause the video and then try and see if you can do it by yourself. So here we go. Remember, teeth and gums meeting. Bring it up. Remember too, I forgot to mention this when I was doing trumpet, but when you breathe in, don't use your nose. I know I was doing that earlier, which is bad, Texas Dan, bad. Don't do that either. Always use your mouth. So when you breathe in, just like so, take in enough air as you can with the anchors still set. So here we go. Try it again. And 1, 2. Let's try that again. 2. Ready. And. If you're doing well, let's keep going again. One more time. Last time. Ready? And. And just like the trumpet, you want to lift that sound. You don't want to cut it off. Like so. Don't let the lips do the work for you. Let the air do the work for you by lifting. Just like so. All right. What we all been waiting for. But before that, remember, just like we did with the trumpet, we need to go over a few things first about the French horn and how it's supposed to be held and positioned during playtime. So, as you see in the front, we have 3 rotary valves. And why do we call them rotaries? Because they're connected to these. Whenever you press one down, there's another object in here that turns with it. That's why we call it rotary valves. With the trumpet, it was just going up and down, and that was just pretty much it. This one, yes, you do press up and down, but it turns to help the French horn become fuck.
It's okay, it's okay. Okay, 3. Can I sneeze first?
Bless you.
Excuse me, sorry. Okay, 3, 2.
All right. before we get right into playing the French horn, a couple of things we do need to discuss. Proper position on how to sit down, and of course, what is everything on a French horn? Just like the trumpet, first, second, and third valve, plus in this case, we have what we call a trigger. Now this trigger can only be used in certain sections. In this case, when you go to a G and above, it's going to be trigger all the way. But G and below, very rarely will you ever use that trigger. Now, like the trumpet, these valves go up and down. But the trumpet, that's the thing, the valves only go up and down. With these, yeah, they do the same thing, but they're also connected to what we call a rotary valve. So every time one goes down, there's a mechanism moving at the same time for each valve. And if you look behind the instrument itself, you see several strings. Whenever they're pressed down, you even see them start to move. Now, you gotta be very careful with these strings. They're very, very sensitive and fragile. The slightest little bump, the slightest little injury that this instrument can take will require your director, or maybe even yourself, to go and replace those strings. It's not that much of a difficult job, but trust me, it gets annoying after a while. So, proper way on how to sit with the French horn. Now, most students that I've worked with over the years, I've seen so many ways on how some students think they should play French horn. There's your typical, and then there's your typical, and then there's your typical. The proper way should be, like the trumpet, feet flat on the floor. In this case with French horn, with band students, we always have them have their feet together, or in this case not together, but slightly spread apart, but in the same area. With French horn, it's a little different. We have our left foot extended out, while our right foot is in. And we'll explain why in a bit. The back is also straight, the chin is up, and then we bring our instrument up, just like so. Now, for beginners, it's okay to have the bell on your right lap. And as you can see now, that's why the right foot is in and not out like the left foot, because it's helping to balance that bell. Now, notice how my hand is on the bell, not inside the bell. I'll explain why that is happening in a few seconds. Or I can explain it right now. Who cares? Now, as you can see, the reason why I'm holding the instrument by the bell is to keep it stabilized. Beginner students, it's okay to have your instrument like this. Even professionals that I've worked with still have their French horn like this. Now, the key is that whenever it's time to start playing, as you can see, this is the rest position of the French horn. When the director brings his hands up, boom, there you go. You can see it again. Boom, there you go. Bring the instrument to you. Don't bring yourself to the instrument. Now, like the trumpet, you see first, second, and third valve, first finger, second finger, third finger. Now, of course, here's your pinky finger for the pinky holder. And then, of course, the thumb is for the trigger. This is the proper way. And, of course, at the same time, like the trumpet, curve those fingers. We do not want flat fingers. We want curved fingers. So, you can try it with me a little bit. 1, 2, up. Try that again. 1, 2, up. Just like so. Remember, bring the instrument to you.